Hey y'all, I'm Jan. So a few weeks ago, I showed y'all my butternut squash pie, but I didn't actually show you how I got that pureed butternut squash to go in that pie. So this right here is a butternut squash. You can see it's pretty large. Tells you right there that's a butternut squash. Now these at the grocery store are like $1.25 a pound, something like that. And my produce guy at my regular grocery store told me a few weeks ago, I had to get two very tiny, and I mean very tiny. I don't even think they were a pound each. He said even he was surprised that they sent him those. But anyway, they were the last two, and I got them. He told me they wouldn't have any more in until August 10th. Something changed because here we go. I went in yesterday and they had 7 or 8. This was actually the smallest one, and this one was still $4. So if you go to get a butternut squash, if you only want to make one pie, you can get one of the tiny ones. But I want to get ready for the holidays. So I went ahead and got this big boy. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to boil it up. And I'm going to puree my squash, and I'm going to freeze it. So come November, I know it's just the beginning of August, but come November, all I got to do is reach in the freezer and grab out my Ziploc bags of butternut squash, and I don't have to deal with, going through all this again for the holidays. So, again, pretty big. You're going to need a big knife. It's going to take me a minute to work through this thing because I don't have too many really sharp knives. But this is the biggest knife I have. And so this is what we're using. It's not too bad. I shouldn't say that. But okay. Now, you see it doesn't actually have a lot of seeds. You want to scoop all that out. Trash can's right underneath me. I'm scooping it right into the trash. Now, if you have, chickens or whatever, you can scoop this out and go feed it to, chickens. But as you can see, it's kind of fibrous right there. So you want to make sure you get all that fibrous stuff out. There's truly not a lot of it, especially if you compare it to a pumpkin. Those are loaded with it, but butternut squashes don't have a lot. Just right here, and that's it. All right, there's one. Oh, this smells so good. I tell y'all, this actually smells like a very mild watermelon. Or a... There we go. In the pot, just like that. I'm going to fill this with water. This is perfect for one squash. This is a pretty big pan, in case you couldn't tell. Oh, real quickly, show y'all these giant eggs a friend got from his church and brought me. Can y'all see how big these eggs are? Holy moly. Look at that. I mean, these are massive. I don't know if I've ever seen eggs that big. Anyway, we're going to use these for sure. And we're going to use one of them today in one of these pies. But, all right, so anyway, just cut the narrower end longer, obviously. I'm going to fill this up with water to about right there. This will boil for about 45 minutes. So I'll be back. Okay, y'all. I just got them out of the pot. I turned them squash side down so any water can drain off of there. And assume you can see the smoke coming off of them. They're very, very, very hot. And so they need to sit here and cool all the way down so that I can easily scoop the squash out of the skin. The skin will come right off. You can tell that one actually broke when I tried to get it out of the pot, so I know for sure they're done. They boiled for 45 minutes. And so when these cool down completely so that I can handle them, I'll be back to scoop this all out, and then we'll put it in a bowl and puree it and get it ready to go in the freezer. Okay, y'all. I'm going to show you how easy this is to scoop out. Really easy. You know, once it's boiled up and soft, yeah, it comes right out. I think I got a little piece of skin there. I did. It's all right. Grab it right in the trash and get my big chunk. This is really, really, really simple. This is still pretty hot, probably too hot for me to be messing with it, but and I'm going to go throw these out back for, you know, whatever birds are out there. This is really easy. Take a piece of the tail of it. But that's it. That's all you have to do. So I'm going to scoop all 4 of these out. I'm going to let it cool down, you know, a good bit more before I puree this up. So I'll be back. Okay, now some of y'all are going to get mad at me because this is plastic, but it's the biggest bowl I have to do this in. And trust me, if you don't use a big bowl to puree your squash, it will fly everywhere. It's going to fly everywhere no matter what, but that's the deepest bowl I have. So here we go. Watch your ears. Well, let me show you what it looks like to begin with. See, it actually doesn't look bad, but it's kind of fibrous. It's not too bad, but you really want this pureed. So just remember this, and I'll show you in a minute what it looks like. Oh, that smells so good. Okay, you see that? How it's starting to get, you know, pretty smooth. And you'll also see that it's got more liquid in it. So I'll definitely have to get that liquid out before we go to bake this. But you want it. You want to get it smooth if you can. Or at least completely pureed when you don't see any more stringy stuff. Okay. Yeah, see how it's completely pureed. It's no more, you know, big chunks like it was in, and there's no more strings. Actually, I see a couple right there. But I'm going to give this one more whirl, and then we're done. Okay. I went and made like some little holes, and as you can see in those holes, liquid's already starting to rise up. I'm going to leave this sitting here for about, I don't know, 20-30 minutes maybe, just so as much water will come out into these little pockets I made. And then I'm just going to take probably just a paper towel, and I'm just going to dip it down in there to get that liquid out, because you obviously don't want that in your pie. And I probably should have just let it, let my squashes sit there a little bit longer, let more of the liquid drain off of them before I scooped them out of the shell. But I want a pie. It's getting later in the day, which means it's getting hotter in here. And the last thing I want to do is run my oven for an hour. I think today we're at a heat index of 115. We're under a heat advisory also. So yeah, I want to get my pie baked, because I'm already going to have to wait at least an hour before I can dig into it. So as I'm sitting here talking to you, you can see more liquid coming out into the little pockets I made. So I'm going to let it sit here for a little bit just so I can get some of that, more of that liquid out. And then I'm going to start measuring these out into 1 cup measurements. And I'm going to put every 1 cup measurement into a Ziploc bag. And I'll show you how to do it. I'm going to lie it flat. So I'll put the puree in here, and I'm going to lie it down flat. However many. Got water everywhere. I'm going to lie them down on top of each other and put them on like a plate. Put them in the freezer just to let them sit there, long enough to get, frozen a little bit. And then I can put them exactly where I want them. But and then I'm good to go for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Already got all this done, and took me about 2 hours. But I'm telling you that the more work you can get done in advance when it comes to Thanksgiving and Christmas, the better off you are. Same goes for pie crusts. Now, as far as this pureed squash, this will last in your freezer 6 months, as long as you have it in a freezer safe container. Regular Ziploc bags are not meant to be in the freezer. You need to make sure you get freezer bags. They're a thicker plastic. They're actually meant for the freezer. I've messed up before and done that, thinking I was using freezer bags, and I was not, and it cost me stuff. So, but when it comes to pie crust, now, like I said, the squash, this will last in the freezer 6 months. But your pie crust really, I don't know. I don't think I'd ever leave them in there more than 3 months. But the end of this month, I will definitely get my pie crust made, or the beginning of September, I'll get all those made for the holidays. So I'll have that good bit done, because I'll definitely be making squash pies and pecan pies for the holidays. So if I can get all my, I'll get my pecans crushed up too, and the pie crust made. And then all I gotta do is throw them together and put them in the oven. So sit here a few more minutes, and then we're gonna make our pie. I'll be back. All right, y'all, let's get our pie made, and then I will put the rest of this squash in Ziploc bags to put in the freezer for the holidays. So I'm trying to make this by memory. Let's see how I do. So first, wait a minute. I need an egg. I need one of these giant eggs over here. You wash this off. These eggs absolutely have not been washed. Okay. Now then. Woohoo! Oh my gosh, that's a double. Oh wait, I don't know if I can use that. I think that's a double yolk. It looks like it. Of course, I guess you can't tell now, but that certainly looked like 2 yolks. I'm not sure I should use this, but I guess what can a second yolk hurt? Oh, it sure looks like a beautiful color yolk, though. He said these were regular, chicken eggs, but they're too big to me to be, a regular chicken egg. Okay. Egg. Let's see. Let's get our sugar in. So 3/4 cup sugar. That's a 1/2 cup and a 1/4 cup. Probably should be using something else to stir this with, but tablespoon all-purpose flour. So that's for sure the one thing you want to make sure you got, that you whisk in so that there are no lumps in your custard. See how pretty that is? And you know I've showed y'all this before, but I didn't show you from start to finish, and this is going on the holiday menu. So, you know, if you've already seen this, you don't have to watch. I just want to make sure it's on there because I'm just so excited about this pie. And I really hope people will try it because it's absolutely amazing. And like I said, it's not going to taste anything like you think it will. Okay. That's a beautiful looking custard right there. All right. 1/3 cup milk. Half a teaspoon vanilla. Pinch of salt. Half a stick melted butter. I got one little tiny piece in there that ain't quite melted, but that's all right. Get that butter whisked in before I add the squash. Now, remember that the actual recipe said 1 cup squash for 2 pies. So if you end up, you know, if you do get the stuff to make this pie and you get a very tiny squash, you can use half a cup. Apparently that's what my grandmother always used. I'm using an entire cup just because it's just so good. Okay. Our pureed squash. Sure if I should try to whisk this in, but we'll try. We'll see. Oh yeah, it's actually whisking up quite well. Okay. All right, I'll grab my pie crust. Now I always put my pies on a bake pan, you know, just in case. I don't think there's any chance of this one boiling over. But just in case, you know, you never know. Here we go, y'all. 375, 30 minutes, and then I'm going to turn it down to 325 for another 15-20 minutes. I'll be back. Okay, y'all. Whew, it's got a lot more water in it. It's been sitting there a while longer. It had a lot of water in there, so I do recommend that you let after you boil your squash, let it sit there and let a lot of that water drain out. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spoon it into my 1 cup measuring cup. Y'all, I'm getting excited. I know I shouldn't be. I mean, we just had holidays, basically. There's a cup. And there we go. There's one done. Let's see if I can make this better for y'all. Sorry. It's me being a lefty, I tell you. It causes some problems. But I just absolutely cannot scoop this stuff with my right hand. I can't do it. You can do it. Okay, since I don't even know if that's a half a pie, all right, so here's what I'm gonna do. Since my mom's recipe actually said a half a cup per pie, I'm gonna scoop that much out of this one. So we'll say 3/4 worth, so I can at least get a half a cup out of that one. And I got my Sharpie in my pocket because I definitely need to write on there that, you know, we got one that's a whole cup, one that's 3/4 cup, and hopefully this will be at least half a cup, this last one. Let's see if I can do it this way. I am so happy to have this part right here done. So while I have one pie in the oven to eat now, and that's if I don't actually sneak in there and get some of these out before the holidays, because I just might not be able to help myself. I have to go back and get some more squashes and boil some more up and get them pureed and ready to go in the freezer. So, all right, this one right here you can see is, well, it's definitely a half a cup, which is what the, you know, the actual recipe calls for. So I think what I'm gonna do, I put a whole cup in this one. I think I'm gonna spoon a little bit out. We'll say that much, and we'll just make every one of these will be a 3/4 cup. 3/4 cup deal. That way I can make 3 pies. And there we go. We have 3 butternut squash pie fillings made up for the freezer. So there's me 3 pies that I can now make for the holidays. And so whether you know, if you are a holiday baker, then you already know. I don't have to tell you anything. But if you decide this year that you want to do some baking and you want to make some pies that your family has never had, I'm telling you, you will not go wrong with this one. This pie, I just can't say enough good about it. I mean, it's absolutely delicious, and like I say, it's not going to taste like you think it will. Most people are expecting pumpkin, and this, not even in the same. This blows a pumpkin pie away, and that's my personal humble opinion. But I don't actually like pumpkin, even though I know pumpkin is a squash. But I tell you what, you won't go wrong making butternut squash pie. In fact, whoever you feed it to will inhale their piece and want more and want you to make it all the time. And I'm not kidding you. It's delicious. Y'all give this a try. I'll be back in a bit to show you our pie. And there's our pie. Gotta sit here and wait an hour. At least an hour. And then hopefully I can dig into it. Y'all definitely give this one a try. And thank you for watching.